Many people still ask me, is it free? So when I say free,
They
it means
can't
it's
believe
free. You do not pay a single penny for your tuition. It's free, zero, null, none, nothing. You pay nothing.
Hi, welcome to Bani Abroad. Today we are going to talk about Canada versus Norway, and for that I have a special guest here on my channel, Ubaid. Thank you so much, Ubaid, for coming to the channel and for agreeing to share your viewpoint.
Thank you very much, Bani. My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me on your YouTube. So as you said, my name is Ubaid and I came to Norway about 5 years ago. So I came as a student to Norway. I have finally, been able to land a job, which we are going to talk about afterwards in the video. So now I'm working and yeah, this is me.
Could you tell me about your bachelor's? What did you pursue? And then when you came to Norway, then what was your education here?
So I'm from Pakistan and I did my bachelor's in public administration. And when I came to Norway, I have actually 2 master's degrees. I did 2 masters. So my first master's was in development management. I did it for 2 years in Kristiansand, a very beautiful town in the south of Norway. And after that, I moved to Oslo. And here I did a master's in health economics. And I specialized in economic evaluation of healthcare systems from University of Oslo, another 2 years master's. And now I'm working. So this is my educational background. Okay. A bachelor degree, 4-year bachelor degree, and 4 years of masters. So two masters.
And now you're working full-time in a corporate role.
Yes, I am doing that.
All right. Thank you so much for the introduction. Now let's talk about if you want to study in Norway or if you want to study in Canada, which one would be better for you. So in this video, we are going to compare the eligibility requirement, the free education, and how difficult it is to get in, the class diversity, so everything about academics.
Many people still ask me, is it free? So when I say free, it means it's free. You do not pay a single penny for your tuition. It's free, zero, null, none, nothing. You pay nothing. So people need to understand when it's free, it means free. It's free for everyone.
So it's really great that the education is free there, but I think the admission requirements, that must be really tough, right? So can you shed how much percentage on an average does a candidate require to apply to the universities there?
When I applied, I think it's the same requirements when I applied. It's been 5 years, 70%.
Okay.
But that does not guarantee that you're going to get the admission, because what if there are 50 people who have 90% and they're applying? So you don't stand any chance of getting the admission. You might be lucky if you're applying to a course where everyone who is applying has 70% or even less, then you can secure the admission. But 70% is the minimum eligible requirement. If you don't have that, I would say don't even bother to apply. Yeah. So that's like, maybe you might get something like maybe a course which does not require any, which does not have a lot of requirements, but you need to have at least 70%. It could be a little lower, maybe 68 can work too, but yeah, keep in mind 70 is like around, it's like the benchmark.
Okay.
So that's the first requirement. I'm not sure about Canada, and you're there in Canada. So I would ask you about Canada, like why did you choose Canada?
First, talking about why I chose Canada, I was confused between Canada, US and Europe because I pursued my MIM, Master of Management. The initial goal was to study in Europe because it originated there, and then second option US, but it's not a STEM degree in US, so I opted out of that. And I've made a video on my channel, why Canada? In one line, I can tell you, I chose Canada because of its immigration friendly policies that would be sure that I would get to stay here in this country. So that was the reason. Now coming to the admission requirements. So here, universities and colleges, both are really popular. Universities provide degrees and colleges provide post-grad diplomas. So many people come for PG diplomas, many people come for degree as well. For degree, of course, the admission requirements would be tougher. Most of the top ones at 75%. Some universities have it 70% as well. But the colleges, even with 60%, you can get an admission into a college, and that's comparatively easier. For universities, depending on the program, you also need to take GRE or GMAT. And of course, English proficiency test is valid at both universities and colleges. In Norway, so GRE or GMAT, how often do they require?
Yeah, so as far as GRE and GMAT are concerned, many courses do not require it. That's another good thing about Norway. So when you talk about the admission requirements, as I mentioned before, 70% grades. And then you need to have IELTS or TOEFL, English language test. You also need to have 4 years of bachelor's if you're coming from Pakistan. I think in India, there are some bachelor programs which are 3 years. So that's also acceptable in case of India, but not in case of Pakistan. And there are some, for example, some students have diplomas or some certification, that is not acceptable. So you need to have at least a 4-year bachelor's degree or a 3 years bachelor's degree in order to be considered eligible to apply. So if you don't have that, once again, don't bother to apply. Simple.
In Canada as well, there's a more norm for 4-year university degree, but a few universities have started accepting that 3-year. But for those students who have pursued a 3-year degree, they usually come for PG diplomas. And that brings me to this question. Are diplomas there in Norway as well, or is it just the university degrees?
There are.
Okay.
But I have never seen an international student, especially from Southeast Asia, coming to study a diploma, because even if you get the admission offer, I think you won't get the visa for that. So the only education that you can come to study in Norway is master's degree. You cannot even come to study a bachelor's in Norway if you're from Pakistan. There is some exception for Indian students.
Okay.
But if you're from Pakistan, if you're from Bangladesh, Nepal, or any other country, I particularly know about Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Nepal. No, you don't have any chance. If you get the admission offer, you won't get the visa. But for Indian student, you may get the visa, but also there's a possibility that it might be rejected. Before, it was in Norway, everyone could come to study bachelor's and master's, whatever. But now, I'm not sure why they're doing that. But the bachelor is, if you have the admission offer, you will not get the visa. UDI does not grant visa for bachelors, and one of the reasons is most of the bachelor programs are taught in Norwegian language. There is very few, 2 to 3. I think I found programs that are in English. But even though if you get the admission offer in those programs,
Right.
I think students won't get the visa. No, I've never seen anyone.
Know that language to a certain proficiency level.
Yes. So I've never seen now anyone coming for a bachelor's. Master's, if you get the admission offer, the visa rate is 100%. You will for sure get the visa. But for bachelor's, no chance.
So if anyone watching this video wants to go to Norway, then you should definitely focus on your percentage, as that's the sole criteria. Of course, there is IELTS, but so is that for Canada. For Canada, even if you're at 60%, of course, you won't get a degree, but you can come for a diploma anyway. But for Norway, make sure that your grades are high.
Also, I just want to mention one thing. Since it's free, so the competition is really high, especially for good programs. I think the competition is really high, so you need to work really hard to get good grades, and then, of course, you can get free education.
Now, let's talk about the class diversity. I'm pretty sure that Norway would also have people from a lot of nationalities, but could you tell me what's the most popular one?
So I can start from my first master's degree because it was pretty diverse. So I had students from Africa, from South America, from Southeast Asia, from Norway, from Europe. So it was from everywhere. But when I was doing my second master's, it was mostly European students, a couple from Pakistan, and I don't think I had anyone from India. But I think usually master programs, they're pretty diverse. I would say 50% Norwegians and 50% from rest of the countries. This is how it works.
That's great. Yeah. For Canada, I would say that in universities, you would find a lot of diversity, but not many students from Europe, because of course they prefer to study there. There are a lot of countries where they can get that education. Indians, Chinese, Koreans, and then of course Canada has a lot of immigrants, so people who migrated long time ago. Holistically, of course, they would be called Canadians as per their PR or citizenship status, but still you know that you will get to learn a lot of new things because the culture that they bring is from a different country. But for colleges, it's pretty much South Asia. There are Bangladeshis, Pakistanis, Nepalis, Indians. So all of these, and I feel that only a few colleges would have diversity equivalent to a university. So if you're looking for diversity, then Canada's universities are the place for you, not the colleges.
Yeah, I think we are everywhere.
Yeah, we are
South Asians reach everywhere.
Yeah. So now, since you mentioned that for bachelor's, almost the admission is impossible because you need to know that language. For your master's, of course, you had your program curriculum in English, but the daily life, talking to people on the streets, the shopkeepers. So how important is it to learn a certain level of Norwegian?
I think it's a very, very good question. I would say Norwegian people, people living in Norway, most of the people, more than 90%, they speak really good English. So you can easily get by not speaking Norwegian on a day-to-day basis, but you will have a really, really hard time getting a job. If you think everyone speaks Norwegian and you don't need to learn Norwegian, you might have to go back after you finish your education because you will not get a job. I will be harsh here because I faced myself. So I need to warn people beforehand. You will not get the job. If you don't speak Norwegian, if you don't put in the effort, you won't get the job. It took me 5 years. of course I was studying, but I was applying for 3 years and rejection. And the only reason you don't get the job is that you don't speak the language, because in a professional setting in the offices, they work and speak Norwegian. And another thing is that in Norway, even though everyone can speak great English, but everywhere you go, for example, signboards, all the writings that you see, for example, on the boards, information, everything is in Norwegian. So you need to learn Norwegian to know where are you, or like,
right. And eventually to get a job. So that's the most important part.
That's the most important thing.
We'll talk more about jobs in the next segment. We have a lot of videos coming your way, so make sure that you follow our channel and you stay tuned to the videos.
Yeah, more great videos. Please click the subscribe button, and also do not forget to click the bell icon so that you get notified each time we post, or Bani posts and I post a video.
Right.
And also go and check out our Instagram.
Yeah, the IDs will be right down on the screen. So until our next video, take care and stay happy. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Goodbye.